It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullet is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Cameroon in there too with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bodenberg and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello and welcome to yet another wonderful episode of Sports Orbit, coming to you live from the Leadership Podcast studio. My name is Afa Acho. I'll be your host for today, and I have with me here Salifu Usman.
Thank you. What a perfect.
Salifu, you look so good. So, yeah, in fact, where I saw you, I thought you were the MD of a multi-billion-dollar company.
Not the, we're in the celebration. We're in the celebration.
I understand.
We now play Afrobasket for practice for 2 times. So it's not a big title. We need to. Despite whatever challenge we are facing, we need to come out. We will celebrate with the girls.
Absolutely.
Make us proud.
And with that, that is how we begin today's episode of Sports Orbit. If you are still just joining us, you might not be aware that the Tigress have won the FIBA Afrobasket competition for the 3rd time in a row. And they did that outclassing Mali to 70-59. What a way to win the Afrobasket. When this competition started from the very first day, we talked so much about the Tigress, their pedigree when it comes to basketball in Africa. And lo and behold, the Tigress have gone out there to make us proud.
Thank you very much. You know, when this competition started, like I would always say on this programs, I say I have full confidence on those girls that they will deliver. And from the result of what they have seen, they have confirmed their status as the queen of African basketball. And they did that without putting anybody in doubt. It is not clear that they are the best team in Africa.
Right.
They win that match, they win that tournament without conceding any single defeat. And if you look at all the matches I was looking at, I say if you recall vividly, I say the only team that can pose a threat to them is Senegal. And why I say so that is Senegal is that at the 2019 edition, hosted in Senegal, the team. At the 2019 hosted in Senegal, the team defeated Senegal, beat them in the opening match. And at the same time, in the final, they've fought hard to beat Senegal in the final. So as an answer, it's only Senegal that can pose a threat to them. But when they beat Senegal in the semi-final, it was great that the difference is the gap between them and Senegal is very wide. That's Senegal always tried to put it because they were at home 2 years ago. But now they are playing on the intra-grand in Cameroon. Nobody's at home. And they clearly showed to Senegal that yes, we are far better than you. Absolutely. And those girls, in fact, I still believe that if those girls speak together in the next edition, they will still retain this title for the first time. But one thing is that I want to urge the administrators that no administration should take credit for this.
Absolutely.
No administration should take this credit for this because administrative basketball wise at home, we are not there. Nothing to write home about basketball at home. But those girls, it's just a self-determination and self-commitment that they believe that they can do better. That those girls have maintained this consistently for 6 years, for 6 consecutive years, win in 2017, win in 2019, and now win it again. It shows their clear determination that they are there and they are ready to do. They are ready to do the country proud, and they have done it again. Congratulations to the Tigress. Congratulations to the Tigress, and I love what they have done together. And I believe that it's only the other teams can also put out work, can learn from what those guys has done. And if you come to sport, that we like to know, the girls are always doing us proud. Talk fact, came to athletic, came to football,
Even to an extent, football.
anyone you measure. When we went to the Olympic, it is only female. It's only male that the female that give us the two medal. The two medal won at the Olympic will come from the female. So the females are always there to give us something to share when it comes to sport, and we should invest for it. Development sport.
So with this win now from the Tigress, do you think that's some sort of how do I put it, redemption from their failure to live up to the expectations that we had of them during the Olympics? Is this some sort of consolation for Nigeria, sort of redemption for the Tigress?
You can't really say it's some redemption for the Tigress. Like after the Olympic, and I say on this program, I say those girls that they didn't do well at the Olympic does not mean that what reflects at the Olympic is not the true reflection of what they can do. A lot of factors contributed to their inability to perform well at that global stage. And even at the 4 years ago, they went to the World Cup. Those guys did well at the World Cup, getting to the quarterfinal. The first African team to get to the quarterfinal of the World Cup. And there's a high hope of expectation that they are going to replicate same feat. Even though I thought they could not even get to the NFL. My target for them was that to get to the semi-final of the Olympics. But unfortunately, a lot of things happened. And just like we saw they went to the competitions without their technical officials on the bench.
Exactly.
And which you can't play a game where you don't have, no matter how good you are, you need somebody to tell you what your last is, what you need to do on the pitch. Because sometimes when you are playing, you may not know some certain thing what you need. But when your coach, the assistant, call your attention that guys, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Because there's no sense to supply them that information at the Olympics. And that's what really contributed to their inability to perform at the Olympics. And those guys have shown that. Forget that people say no, this is an African football, this is an African basketball. Even in Africa, we are also apart with the rest of the world. But if those guys are not really good, what they have done in Cameroon, they have done that in the Cameroon. So what happened with the Olympic is a different scenario. And because a certain factors contribute to their inability to perform at the Olympic, and Nigerians will commend those guys and give them all the necessary support. And urging the fast for individuals, corporate organizations should come behind and celebrate those guys. Yes. They need to celebrate those guys. Those guys are brand. So companies will identify with them.
So now moving forward to 2023. For them becoming champions in Africa for the third time, there's no doubt that in 2023 at the Paris Olympics, expectations will be very, very high. What are your expectations moving forward? What if you are going to set a target for the Tigress? Where do you hope to see them advance to at least in 2023? Is it the quarterfinal, or you think they could do one step better and even win the gold medal? Who says they can't win it?
One thing about, there's nothing about even setting a target for those guys. Those guys are that if those guys are still keeping together, they'll give Nigeria something more and more to shape. But what is that? And what it means that by their winning African basketball back to back, they have great fears into any other teams.
Of course.
Whoever coming to meet them now, you have that fear, that inferiority complex against those girls. There's no African team that will come against them that will not have that inferiority complex that these are the third-time African champions. They are beating everybody. So if you are coming against opponent, you always have that fear. But them, they don't have any that. And at the same time, going to the world, and the World 2 years ago, they did well. When they go to the quarterfinal. So even at the Paris Olympic, coming to the Paris, before the Paris, there's only by winning this Africa Cup, they have also qualified for the World Cup.
Of course, yeah.
That has also given automatic ticket to the World Cup. Yeah. So all the leaders, my appeal to that, it's not even to the girls. My appeal that is to the authorities, the sport administrators, and the rules in NBA. I will hope that the forthcoming NBA election, just like the minister has trying to set the ball rolling to ensure that the election is held only clean and fair.
Very important.
That all the legal crisis, all the issues should be sent to go to the election. Let's have a next leadership that will be generally accepted to anybody in basketball. Yeah. When we have everyone on decks and give this girl the leaders support, all the need, I strongly believe that this girl can beat anything and play anything in the world.
All right, congratulations once again to the Tigress. Away from that, we'll move on to still Nigerian related, this time to boxing, where Anthony Joshua has finally lost all of his 3 belts. The 3 heavyweight belts he had, the IBF, the WBF, and of course, the IBO. Lost it to Ukraine's Alexander Usyk. before that fight, a lot of talk was ongoing. Even before this fight, there was already the talk of Fury and Joshua fighting, even before he had crossed this hurdle. Only for Joshua to go into this fight, and Nigerians woke up on the Sunday morning, to realize that, alas, Joshua has lost all of his belts. And now he's saying he wants a rematch. But even going forward, what do you think actually happened to Joshua? Is it, we spoke about this. Is it like he underrated this man, just like in the case of Ruiz? Joshua has more height, has a longer reach than Usyk. But what happened really? Is it that his team got the strategy wrong? What actually happened? Because I'm still in shock. I never expected that. Because as long as the ball is concerned, this is an upset.
It was a big upset, and just like this, and every other Nigerians were totally devastated about what happened to Joshua. Nobody saw it forthcoming. Or nobody, if you remember, the Russian promoters, his young promoter
Sounded a warning.
Has given a warning that this is the toughest match Joshua is going into. And what this fight has shown was that I think Joshua needs to get back to withdraw back to the drawing board and try to look where he's getting wrong. If you remember what happened to him against the Mexican guy, Ruiz. So he lost that fight. So and now that's another defeat. This is the second defeat he's suffering in his career. So within what you mean, within in his last 3 matches, he has lost 2. So now he's calling for a rematch. My fear is that he may not have that luck he have against Ruiz.
Exactly.
That when he called for a rematch and he was lucky to win that match, he may not be lucky this time.
Because the problem is, if he's granted that rematch and he loses, that's almost like the end of his career.
And I'm also afraid that it's like Joshua timing is gradually coming to an end. But I'm not predicting, but I hope it's not so. But if you watch it in live, he was totally beaten by that Ukrainian guy. And even him, he admitted it's at around 9. He could not even say anything.
Yeah.
What saved him? It would have been a knockout, technical knockout. But the saving this was the referee that ring the bell.
Exactly.
And that gave him an opportunity to withdraw. And that's why the match was taken to the last 12 and the Ukrainian finally match unanimous judgment. If not, it could have been a technical knockout because he admitted that he could not even see anything when the guy boy, and if you see his face, eyes were swollen up everywhere. And he couldn't see anything. So now he's calling for a rematch, and now Usky has an edge. So Usky now is also, if you want a match, we are going to find in Ukraine.
Definitely. Because he's in a position now to decide on how everything goes. Yes.
I never said the guy wanted to avoid the mistake he always make when he take the second match to Saudi Arabia. Now these guys say no, if you want to rematch, come to Ukraine.
Yes.
And I'm afraid if you are going to get lucky this time around. But
because fighting in London, which is supposed to be like home for him, he lost. So imagine now going all the way to Ukraine. That would be really difficult.
But at the same time, you have to the Joshua teams needs to get back to the drawing board and get the strategy right. Because if you look at that fight, Joshua was no match to that guy at all. It was totally annoying that Joshua of his record to suffer such a defeat.
It was terrible. So with the way it is now, do you ever see the possibility of Joshua, the long-awaited fight? Because he came out to say yesterday that even without belt, he's still eager to challenge Fury. Do you think, yes, while that is a possibility, but the attraction that would have been wouldn't be like that because Fury now has the WBC belt. So Joshua going to challenge him this time around without a belt, the ratings and the kind of money that would have been involved wouldn't be like that, and the hype around it won't be like that. But Joshua said whether he regains his titles back or not, he is still willing to ensure that he eventually fights Tyson Fury. Do you see this as eventually happening?
Well, it may happen and it may not. Because what is mean that Joshua now is no longer
a champion.
A champion and is no longer attractive to any boxer now. And even himself, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything to rely on to lose at the bargain again. So he's now at the mercy of everybody who wanted to fight now. Okay, Peter, so they fight all this. So and now the owner line on full to say either come to fight or not to fight because you don't have anything to come and bring on the table. But I don't want to agree that it is the end of the road for Joshua yet.
Yes.
He's still very well aged, so he's still
Still
on his side. So who you cannot say whether he will regain his belt if Usyk all decided to offer a rematch for him. Although in their contract, there's a clause in the contract that whoever wants this match, there's a clause that you have to go for a rematch, which Joshua wanted to activate that clause, and he has called for a rematch, and Usyk I now said, okay, if you are coming for a rematch, you need to come to my home. So either he home. But it's not left for Joshua that if he believes in himself, I trust him, just like he says, no, I'm not going to shit out. But I believe and I can still go there and get my bed back.
Exactly.
So all we need to do is to support him and urge him if he believes he has what he needs to go back and reclaim the bed. But this time around, he need to sign his eyes very well because things are no longer as it was.
At all. I mean, because once you start losing this kind of fight gradually, it has happened to so many boxers.
Yeah, for instance,
before you know it.
Well, I don't want to say this because I'm even maybe say why should you say because just when he became the world champion and people started celebrating and Nigeria started celebrating now coming home, and since he started coming home to Nigeria now these are no longer whole.
Well, if you notice after this defeat, on social media a lot of Nigerians were beginning to bash him, castigate him, and criticize him. You see, nobody now is trying to celebrate him. Nigeria, this. You see, but that's the problem.
That is the problem. Nigeria, you know, victory has many brothers and many sisters. But when you are nobody will want to identify with it. But as a viewer, everyone wants to identify with it. When it was happening, was when everyone say Nigeria boxer, Nigeria British born Nigeria. But now people are saying the British. But either we like it or not, he has given Nigeria some.
Of course.
He's trying to come home to identify his fatherland. So at least Nigeria still need either he defeat all of them, but we still need to support him and urge him. Give all the necessary support. We don't need to help bring him down. All we need to support him, urge him if he can believe himself that he can get the belt. We need to give him get behind him to urge him to go ahead and support him, not to bash him at this time around. Because he needed everybody's support at this time around to come behind to get his feet back.
All right, we need Joshua to get back on his feet. At this point in time, we'll go for a timeout. We still have lots and lots in store for you. Osimhen is still in the news. There's the Premier League, some transfer news, and of course, the Premier League review of last weekend's matches. This and many more we have in store for you once we come back from this short break. Don't go nowhere.
Sometimes it's part of the game strategy.
It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullet is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricardo is inching into the lead, and Ricardo that win the Italian Grand Prix.
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Cameroon in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix. Ricardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett can an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome back from that short break, and you're back to Sports Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. We'll move straight into football now, where Osimhen is still in the news. Victor Osimhen simply can't stop scoring goals, as he scored his third straight goal since the Serie A began. As it stands, Osimhen is currently the joint top scorer across the top 5 leagues in Europe. I mean, what do you have to say about this young man, especially for some of us who followed him all the way from his time at the under-17? It seemed like maybe a fluke because we've had players who pass through that under 17 period. They become, big stars, and before you know it, they fade out. But Osimhen has shown some level of consistency that has never been seen before in a long time from any Nigerian striker, and doing it at the highest level for a club like Napoli.
From what if you go back history, memory back, and you watch
We sincerely apologize for that sudden break in transmission. But before we went on that interruption, tell if we were talking about Osimhen.
it's just like I was trying to say that yes, congratulations, we just congratulate you, and I was advising that you need not to allow this to get into his head, and it's to, what it matters to him is that he should know that yes, he can still improve, he can still do better than what he's doing at the moment, not to feel that he has arrived and he can begin to celebrate himself, but he need to consider and still work on his feet and work more and work that he's still injury free. Forget I'm proud. I'm a Nigerian because of what Osimhen is doing, and he has given us a very befitting image that yes, Nigeria side is topping joint top scorer across Europe, not just in Syria, across Europe. That major, they're talking of the Premier League, Spanish League, German Bundesliga, French League, and the Italian League. So in all this league, Osimhen is one of the leading goal scorer in all the 5 leagues. So congratulations to him, and I believe that he should stay injury free and he can do better than this, and he should work harder more, so as not to allow this to get into his head.
But with his performance so far, do you see him really lasting at Napoli? Because if he continues in this form, by next season, you still see him being at Napoli.
That's another topic for another discussion for another day. And I strongly believe that if Osimhen maintains this form, it's going to be a very hot.
Absolutely.
It's already hot. It's already a hot thing. Many of the top clubs want to have him in their team, and just that is why the Napoli last week to extend his contract in order to tighten him down. And if at all they are going to lose him, they should not have regrets of losing him at all. They should be able to recover whatever they have invested in him. I believe that when Gattuso left Napoli at the end of this week, I was having a afraid that it was that Gattuso that brought him to Napoli. We're thinking that either the new coach is going to have Spalletti going to have a good relationship,
like under Spalletti here,
and other Spalletti, this guy has blown off
completely.
It's like Spalletti. I also give kudos to Spalletti that he has also worked on this guy very work on this guy seriously, and then and you know give it in the school, and then there's a good relationship, and you can see the kind of comment is
Exactly.
commenting on him, giving him a lot of thumbs up, congratulating him, and urging him to go ahead. And I believe that it's already this good relationship will continue because when you are playing under a good coach, you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
But if you come to the idea of say either he's going to die in Napoli next season or the next season is another issue entirely. But if he maintain this one, I'm afraid for Napoli.
Well, still onto football. After the 3-1 defeat to Arsenal in the North London derby yesterday, Nuno Espirito Santo has come out to say that that defeat was basically to some wrong decisions, tactical errors he made in the course of the game. Do you agree with him, or do you think Arsenal were simply just the better side on that day?
Well, tactical error is part of the game.
Of course.
And that football,
you can't always get it right.
You can't always get it right. Football is won by whoever the tactical plan better. So either you go into the match and you say you are not right in your formation, whatever calculation it is the action of the opponent that determines you to fuck up in your tactic. And either you say, okay, I make a mistake, good that he's coming out of this game to admit that it's entirely his fault that the team suffered a defeat. If not, some other coaches would like to transfer the angers on the player that the player didn't play into my shot. But it's good that he is taking the responsibility of that. That's what you mean by saying that okay, he was not right on his decision. That means he's taking full responsibility of that defeat. And instead of blaming it on the players that the player didn't play the structure. So now that he knows that it was his fault, and I believe that in the subsequent game he will be able to admit. But one thing is that Arsenal fans are already celebrating a bit. Yes, it's good for them to celebrate. Good for them to celebrate after playing this is week 6.
Yeah.
Lost their first 3 match, lost to the Brentford, lost to Chelsea, lost to Man City, and now they struggle to win against Burnley 1-0.
Their third straight win.
Norwich 1-0. Now this is the first time Arsenal is scoring more than 1 goal.
Yes.
And they scoring a goal, and not another time they are bitter rivals, not modern rivals. So at least Arsenal has scored some points. Now they have over their rivals at North London.
Yeah.
So good, but I believe that Arteta will be able. I think he should not see this one as a safe of his job.
Yes, Arsenal are now back.
You need to still work more hard.
Yeah.
If he really still work, but me, I still believe that Arsenal job is beyond Arteta. But what the job they achieved against Tottenham yesterday on Saturday, on Sunday, it's not something to say okay, Arsenal have arrived, but they need to still work hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if the same Arsenal team I'm seeing, if they come against Liverpool, I'm afraid. Until they will be able to play good game against clubs like Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, who are now saying, okay, yes, as a guy, can be given a chance to win the job. But it should come that okay, you say, okay, we win. They give him 5 matches or 3 times. Out of the 5 matches, he has not won 3. So he shouldn't believe that he has arrived, but he needs to still work hard. But congratulations to him.
Still on the Premier League, where reports suggest that Solskjaer has come under intense pressure as United coach. And of course, it's no surprise due to the recent inconsistency in form of Man United. In the last 4 games they played, they lost 3, recording just 1 victory. And of course, on Saturday against Aston Villa, right there in their home farms, there at Old Trafford, United could not even secure a point against Villa. And of course, fans were so angry. A lot of fans who had backed Solskjaer, even from the beginning, have truly now come out to say, yes, Solskjaer, you've been able to stabilize the club, you've been able to make the good signings, but moving forward, they think you've done your job. Let someone else come and take this club to the promised land. Do you think they are correct?
Well, I don't want to buy into the idea that they should allow the Solskjaer to step aside and allow another new Messiah to come from heaven to come and take the Man United next level. All I need is that many big clubs have also suffered this kind of setback.
But the truth is, do you think Solskjaer, just like we keep saying of Arteta, yes, he has been able to qualify United for back-to-back Champions League, come second and all that. But do you think Solskjaer going forward for a club like United, do you think Solskjaer is the right man? that will actually bring back silverware to you.
Just like he has come closer on 2 occasions to win the title, but unfortunately did not get it right at the end of the last round. But I still believe that and just like you said, he will be able to stabilize the team, bringing in good players, if you like it or not. Mayu has a freaking squad that can play anything at the moment, and he also gives me a credit to be able to identify sure strike players. And where he brought to most of those players to stabilize the team. So at least yes, it happened in football. It's part of the game. Sometimes you may not get your tactic right, you may not get anything. And just like we're discussing off the camera where he play Boba out of position.
Exactly.
So it was a lot on his side, and I believe she take that responsibility for what happened. But going forward, they have a match against Villarreal on Wednesday, which is
and that's going to be a tough one. I'm not forgetting that Villarreal played out a goalless draw against Madrid just yesterday. So to tell you the kind of club Villarreal is.
And the Europa League champion.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a very tough match for Shadow, just like you are saying, and that may also his job may likely going to depend on
the outcome of that match.
Depend on the outcome of that match. Yes, I'm not saying they're going to sack him if the match or if he will win the match. But one thing is that if he lost that match, he's not get the results, that will add to more pressure.
Exactly.
And the panic point will now begin to now set in. Because this season, Man U has made a lot of investment in the club. When the coming back of Ronaldo, and the other players that were coming, people believe that Man United, every fan of the Man United believe that they have every reason to hope for something this
season.
So they can't afford to end this season without anything.
Yeah.
So the better the Mr. Solskjaer knows now, the better for him. Need to stay and put his head hard to stay this because he has a very good squad, no doubt about it. He has a very good. If you check the Premier League at the moment, it's one of the best teams, it's one of the best. One of the best squad.
Yeah.
So he has every chance to challenge for every title this season. So he needs to come. If not, Man U fans are not like Arsenal fans who are always patient that our time will come. I don't think Man U will have that patience, and Man U at the same time have to waited for a very long time for silverware. Although Mourinho was able to give them a Europa League title,
Europa and Carling Cup.
Europa and Carling Cup. That's why they say Mourinho didn't succeed anything. But at least if you check all the managers before after Solskjaer, you believe that those recorded some success.
Of course.
Any other coach that was able to give them Europa League titles and the Carling Cup. So which any other coach after Solskjaer has achieved.
Exactly. So still on to football now. We move straight to the La Liga, where Real Madrid has come out to say that they are ready to listen to offers for Eden Hazard in January, especially with the impending arrival of Kylian Mbappe from PSG. Since Eden Hazard, we know the kind of player Eden Hazard was. I mean, Eden Hazard was ranked just slightly below Messi and Ronaldo in his last season at Chelsea. And everybody thought moving to a Madrid, Eden Hazard will finally take over the world. But it has not been the way everybody thought. Yes, injuries has affected him mainly. But now Madrid are now planning to even offload him in January. Not even waiting till the summer transfer window. What do you think actually went wrong with Hazard?
So if you look at Hazard at the moment, he's surplus to the requirement at Rematch.
Absolutely.
And even I'm very sure that even himself, he knows that his service is no longer needed. I think Rwanda is one of the big flaws in signing where he comes to his move from Madrid. And that's why players sometimes need to weigh their options very well before you leave one club to another. You may be a king in one club, but if you move to another club, you become just another player. And that's what happened to him. After the Russia 2018 World Cup, he was one of the big stars at the World Cup. He did well, and just like you say, he was one of the toughest big player in the Premier League. And when he moved to Real Madrid, and that's why he put every trust, put all it needed that he wanted this player at Real Madrid. But unfortunately, as he come to the Real Madrid, become a different player and become just another player. Just like yes, injury was not fair to him, but he was playing Chelsea and he was doing well. But all of a sudden, he came to the mind, what happened? Only God knows. But I just like saying that if I'm here to advise him, if in the club, if I were him, he should even push for him so he can reactivate his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Get a new challenge.
Because
Get a new environment.
where he is at the moment, nobody will reckon with. Nobody will remember.
Most times I even forget he's even at Madrid.
If you have to mention top players and you don't even remember one setting exactly is there. So he need to, if I were him, he should move out of the Real Madrid to reactivate his career. Because he's still young and he still have a playing time like another 5 years to play.
All right, just before we go, just a quick roundup of what went down in the EPL with these results. Finally, after Pep Guardiola suffered defeat 3 times against Tuchel, he finally got his pound of flesh. Which got his tactics right, and they won down with 1-0, giving Chelsea their first defeat of the season. And of course,
they did do that one where that's the Stamford Bridge.
Yes, exactly.
Even Tuchel was a big surprise. It's an upset in this. What has happened? He couldn't believe that he lost that match with Man City, even at all. Not if I thought he was going to lose to Man City, not at their
home. Yes.
That has put it. What means that this season every Premier League club has suffered a defeat.
No, apart from Liverpool, Liverpool are yet to. And of course, Man United also suffered their first defeat after putting up a shambolic display against Aston Villa, right there in front of over 70,000 fans at Old Trafford. And of course, Everton still continuing their fine starts to the Premier League under Rafa Benitez with a 2-0 win over Norwich City. Norwich City are yet to record a win this season. I mean, just by week 6 looks like Norwich might just be heading straight to back to relegation.
Where they are coming from.
And of course, West Ham were also 2-1 winners over Leeds. Leicester played out a 2-2 draw with Burnley, and it was all square, also 1-1 at between Watford and Newcastle. And of course, there was a 6-goal thriller when Liverpool confronted new Premier League comers, Brentford.
This Brentford, there's something special about this club. This is the club that just come to the league for the first time in their career.
About 45 years.
Yes, their first match they defeated Arsenal 2-0. So everybody was sure that it was just a fluke.
Exactly.
But now the result against Liverpool, even though that Liverpool was trying to swing some spoons, that Liverpool have suffered a defeat against them.
Yes.
And they have 3-3 score. That is good to that means it shows that those guys that they meet business in the Premier League. Because I was expecting the team that just comes from the Premier League for the first time in 45 years and beating Arsenal in their first game. Now they are up there.
Playing
they are top 10.
Exactly.
They are within the top 10, playing against Liverpool for not everything, and forced Liverpool to a 3-3 draw.
Exactly.
That shows you who the kind of club this club has.
Exactly. And of course, out there, St. Mary's Wolves were 1-0. Won that game 1-0. And of course, at the Emirates, it was 3 goals for Arsenal and 1 to Tottenham. With this and many more, I think this is where.
We'll take on Crystal Palace later.
Later today. Last game of the day, Brighton against Crystal Palace. Of course, Patrick Vieira, we all know, is the coach of Crystal Palace, and it's been some form of inconsistency, but I think he's gradually learning the ropes. Some are tipping him to even succeed Arteta
to take over Arsenal.
Do you think you do a better job than Arteta in case, for instance, he's given the job?
But no matter how you can't compare Crystal Palace to Arsenal.
Of course.
Arsenal have some pedigree and some name compared to Crystal Palace.
But people are looking at that, being him an Arsenal legend, at least compared to his pedigree at Arsenal. You can't compare his pedigree at Arsenal with Arteta.
No.
So, but people are saying if you give him the job, maybe he just might do better than Arteta. Do you share in this opinion?
But if you're looking at their coaching career so far, even the Vieira was at Man City. Also was at Man City as a coaching before he left. He left and went to US to coach a club, and now come back to his French league and then come to the. But I don't. If you say okay, because he's a national legend, the time he has a national was a better time than compared to Arteta. And I think either he's going to translate that to become a bench coach. Being a former player does not mean that you are going to be a good coach. So you need to show that at Crystal Palace, if you really deserve to be an Arsenal coach, Arsenal coach in the near future. But Arsenal fans would like to have him as a manager if he really can do better. He can do it, but he should end the job on merit, not being as a former player.
All right, with that, we draw the curtain on today's episode of Sports Orbit. Salifo, thanks for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
And from here, my name is Afa Acho, your host for today. And until we come your way tomorrow again with another exciting episode of Sports Orbit, stay safe out there and it's bye-bye.